Hey guys, welcome to my ultimate guide for Citadelle of the Dead in Black Ops 6 Zombies. This video will feature a bunch of tips, a bunch of useful side quests, as well as the main Easter egg guide, and basically everything you need to know within Citadelle of the Dead. So I hope you guys enjoy and find it useful. If you do, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe for more guides like this, and I hope you guys enjoy. To open up Pack-a-Punch, all you have to do is keep opening doors until you get to the front of the castle. Then you can make your way to the top of the wall, where you could then crank the cannon to face the front door of the castle and interact with the cannon to explode the entrance. If you then keep following the stars and opening doors, you make your way down to a crate that has locks on them. Simply shoot the locks off, and the brand new mini boss of the map will pop out called the Doppelgast. Simply kill him, and be careful because the Doppelgast will explode after he dies. Then he will drop the Pack-a-Punch crystal, which you can pick up and then take it back to the crate and interact to spawn the Pack-a-Punch machine. And after you open up Pack-a-Punch, this will now open the alchemy room, which you can find back upstairs, that connects the stamina up room to the dining hall. And when you approach, you should see the wall disappear. Around the map in various locations, you might notice these crates that are sitting around. If you actually shoot them, they can bust open and give you a whole bunch of salvage. Sometimes, however, it will just be a parasite, so watch out. So if you guys ever see these random drops that seem to spawn every couple of rounds on top of the tavern on the roof, and you can't seem to reach it, well, all you gotta do is head over to the top of the castle next to the cannon and simply interact, and you can climb inside the front of the cannon and be shot across the map back to spawn. And as you're flying over, you will be able to pick up that random drop. Another cool little tip is after you get Pack-a-Punch opened up on the map, you'll notice you can use the cannon on the wall of the castle and fast travel back to spawn. But also you can find the crank from the cannon there in spawn in the very back on the ground. And then if you head into the dining hall, kind of the center area of the castle, and then in the back right corner, you should be able to find a blowtorch on the ground, which you can also hold to pick up. With these two parts, if you head back to the cannon and go to the side where you cranked it and interact, you can now place the crank back on there, and now you can rotate the cannon towards the castle or towards spawn and use the cannon to shoot yourself in either direction and use as a fast travel for the rest of the match. A cool little feature is on the right side of the map, you can find a well. If you're on the special round where it's vermin and parasites, if you actually go to the well, anyone in your game, if you hold interact at the well, you can deposit points into the well. And you can just sit there and keep holding interact or tapping it to keep spitting points into the well. This could be used as a way to share points with your teammates, or say you have profit sharing, or you end up getting a double points on any other round afterwards. You can throw a grenade into the well and it will spit out all those points. To get a really easy free random perk, all you have to do is shoot 4 Mr. Peaks around the map in a specific order. The first one's going to be found just opposite of Elemental Pop. If you look out through the window, you can see him floating. Now, some of these spots are pretty difficult to see, so you might want to get yourself a sniper or a high zoom optic. So the second one is in the barn, kind of next to Deadshot, and if you look through this hole in the wall towards the castle, this one's really hard to see through the fog, but there's a sort of hole in the wall of the castle, and Mr. Peaks will be sitting on the ledge. If you successfully hit him, you'll be able to hear his laughter and a flash of light signifying that you hit him, and he'll disappear. Now, the third spot is just going to be upstairs of the dining hall, and if you look towards this left tower, he's going to be in the window up there. And then lastly, if you just head down into the dungeon, which is the quick revive room, and just to the left of the ammo cache, you can find a jail cell where you can find the last Mr. Peaks to shoot sitting there on the bed. And after you shoot this one, you will be rewarded a free random perk. There is a little Rat King Easter egg where you can get a bunch of free loot, including possibly a free ray gun, free Pack-a-Punch crystals, and a free perk. So all you gotta do is go to spawn and break this window and grab this wheel of cheese. And now there's 10 rats around the map, and the more you find, the better reward you're going to get at the end. So it's best to just get all 10. So the first one is just gonna be to the right of spawn, right underneath this van. Simply get close to it, melee it, scare it away so that it runs away. The second one's just going to be to the left in the spawn room, right underneath these plants right here. And then if you make your way to the left side of the map near Deadshot, just to the left, you're going to find this zombie spawn on the ground here. And if you go prone here, you can see the rat on the ground to the right and scare him off and he'll run away. The next one's going to be on the top wall of the castle as you're approaching the cannon, and it's going to be just below this broken stair right here, so scare him away. The next one's going to be right in the Juggernog room. To the back right of the room, he's going to be underneath this wooden chair. If you then head into the dining hall on the left side, you're going to see some crates, and you're going to see the next rat underneath this pallet. So after you scare him away, you can then move all the way down into the Undercroft. And then on the right wall, you're going to see a zombie spawn. You can go prone at and see the next rat to scare away as well. If you then head into the dungeon where Quick Revive is, to the right of Quick Revive, you're going to see a jail cell with the rat in the bottom left corner you can scare away. The second to last one's going to be back up in the alchemy room, and just underneath this desk over here, you can crawl underneath and see the rat and get close to him, melee him, do what you need to scare him away. And then the very last one's just going to be in the stamina up room right to the left underneath this kind of footrest. So once you've scared off all 10 rats, then head down into the Pack-a-Punch room and to the left of the tier 3 armor buy, you're going to see a plate now surrounded by all the rats you've scared away. So there should be 10 if you've collected all of them. And if you've collected all 10, you can then interact with the plate to place the cheese down. Then the rats will eat and reward you with a bunch of loot. So in my game, I ended up getting a free perk, a free tier 2 Pack-a-Punch crystal, along with 500 points and a little crown you can put on your head that seems to be pretty much just cosmetic. So it's a cool little thing you could show off to your friends that you have a crown. How to get all 4 elemental swords. So first things first is you're going to have to get yourself the basic sword. So go ahead and get Pack-a-Punch opened up. And then you're going to want to find a knight zombie that has sort of just a knight helmet on its head, meaning you can't actually get headshot damage on this zombie, but if you shoot him in the body, he will drop a stamp. Then you can take this stamp into the dining hall, and at each of the statues is where you can collect a sword by interacting with a stamp. However, each elemental sword requires a very specific sword from a very specific statue. But just for reference, when you're walking into the dining hall from the front entrance of the castle, the first left statue is the stag sword. The second left statue is the Raven Sword, the first right statue is the Dragon Sword, and the second right statue is the Lion Sword. So with that said, let's just hop right into this. So first up is the Fire Sword, and you're going to want to grab the Dragon Sword, and then go ahead and run upstairs of Jug and place the sword there. You will then have to go and collect fire from 3 different urns from around the map, and it will light you on fire and begin burning you, and a bunch of zombies will spawn, but it'll give you super speed. You have to take this fire back to the dragon head and place it there. If you kill any purple-eyed zombies during this, it should give you back some health though. Now these 3 urns can be found just on the top of the castle wall. That's going to be the first one. It's pretty noticeable. It's going to be lit on fire, so take that to the dragon head. The second one's going to be just right outside of spawn to the left, sort of in that Deadshot area, but right close to that spawn entrance. And then the third and final one is just going to be right in the spawn room, right next to the Rampage Inducer. So take all 3 of these fires to the Dragon Head, and once you've completed that, you can now collect the Fire Sword. Next, we have the Solais Sword, or Light Sword, and you're going to need to get yourself the Lion Sword to do this one. Once you grab the Lion Sword, however, it's going to spawn parasites that are glowing. And what you're going to have to do is kill 1 parasite at a time with this Lion Sword, and it's going to give you a sort of light orb. So then take this light orb to this door that has a lion knocker on it, sort of near Speed Cola, and you can hit the knocker with your sword, and it will put the light energy onto the door. So do this to the 4 glowing parasites until the door is finished. You can then interact with the door to go into the secret passageway, follow it to the very end, and you can place the sword inside of this pedestal, and pay attention to the pedestal because it's going to glow with a specific symbol. So all you have to do is pay attention to the symbol that glows and shoot it, as they're going to be floating in the air. And then after you shoot the first one, it's going to glow a second symbol, and then you can shoot that one in the air and basically repeat until all these symbols are completed. Then you will be able to collect the light sword from that pedestal. Then we have the sort of shadow / void sword. So to do this one, you're going to have to grab the Raven Sword, and then you're going to have to head to the left room just from the dining hall there and into the alchemy room, where you should be able to find bones. And some people were confused because there is some decorative bones in that room as well, but if you simply hold interact all over the shelves in that room as well as the middle section, you should be able to pick it up. It's usually on like a little stand, and it could be on a lower counter or it could be on an upper shelf, so just look look all around, and hold interact all over the place. With the sword and these bones, head to underneath the tavern area of the map in the spawn area, and on the wall you can actually place the bone, and it'll activate sort of this puzzle, and you can input the sword into the slots on the wall as well. You can then interact with this puzzle, and you will now have a code to solve. Depending on the bone you have in your match, because it will be different every game, the code to enter will be different. So on screen you can see all 5 possible different codes depending on the bone. So simply find the image that has your bone in your match, and match the code that's on the bottom towards the pointer that's at the bottom of the rings. Once you've successfully typed in the code, orbs will begin flying out of the portal, and if they hit you, they will damage you. And all you have to do is lead them to the void portal that should now be on the floor in that room. So once they fly over them, the void portal will suck them in. Once you've collected enough into the portal will actually move to a new location. You can follow it. So just fill this void portal with the orbs at about 3 different times. Then it will go back to the pedestal and summon the void/shadow sword for you to pick up. Last up, we have the lightning sword. So for this one, you're going to want to get yourself the stag sword, and then go over to the electrical box that's near Speed Cola and shoot it, and it should drop a rod that you can pick up. If this doesn't work, you might need dead wire on your gun. Then if you head over to the Deadshot Daiquiri machine, just to the left of it, you should be able to find the next rod sitting on the ground. The third rod, if you go down into the dungeon area, and in sort of the hall, there's a door you can hold interact with to begin talking with Craft. This is obviously for the main Easter egg quest, but after you talk to him, if you then start killing zombies down there in the dungeon, one of them should eventually drop the last rod that we'll need. So with these 3 rods, take them up to the sort of vase that's on the top of the wall, sort of to the right of the cannon. Once you place these, it's going to start a little storm around you and start spawning a bunch of purple zombies. So all you got to do is stay within this storm area and start killing some of the purple-eyed zombies with your sword, as well as parrying their attacks. And occasionally, the storm will zap your sword with lightning. So when your sword is filled with lightning, you must run over to the vase and melee the vase with your lightning sword to transfer the lightning over. So you're going to need to repeat this 3 times total to hit the vase with lightning 3 times. After you've done it the 3rd time, you can interact with the vase to place your sword, and then the lightning sword will then form and you can collect it. So yeah guys, that was how to get all 4 elemental swords in Citadelle of the Dead. How to get free points and a free PhD flopper perk. So all you gotta do is collect 3 bottles from around the map. So the first one's going to be in the Undercroft, and just to the left of the skeleton on the couch, you should be able to find the bottle there. The second one's going to be in the Stamina Up room, directly across from Stamina Up on sort of a lower shelf. And then the third and final bottle is just right next door from there in the dining hall, and it's going to be in the front corner next to this couch. So once you have these 3 bottles, take them to the bar at the tavern in Spawn, hop behind the counter and interact with the platter that's there, and it will start a serving mini game. So you will now act as a bartender for the zombies. So the zombies will then approach the bar and shine a color in front of them. So you then just got to turn around and find the drink color that matches that, pick it up and place it in front of them. Every time you give a zombie a drink, you get points and it kills that zombie. If you continue to do this until completion, you will be rewarded with a free can of PhD flopper. So since there's no PhD machine on the map, this is a pretty cool little side quest. There is a little side quest where you can get a cutscene and some free loot, specifically if you're playing as Maya. And I recommend getting yourself some upgrades and some perks before you go into this, because it's a little bit of a mini boss fight. So all you have to do is head to the top left of the dining hall, where you're going to see this door and a radio sitting on the table. All you're going to want to do is interact and sort of melee with the door, and with the radio interact with it and melee it. And then there will be some dialogue, and then Maya will pretend to be someone else so that the person will unlock the door. If you can't get this interaction to occur, you might just have to wait around a little while until you hear the radio kind of beeping, and then you should be able to interact. But once he unlocks the door, you can interact with the door to go into into this new section of the map, and a bunch of vermin are going to spawn. So be sure to watch yourself and kill all those vermin, and as you make your way down the hall, you're going to come across a doppelgast, and then there's going to be another doppelgast in there, but this one's a mini boss, so he has more health and does more damage, so watch out for him, take him down, and once you take him down, he should drop a key, which you can then take to the end of the hall to enter a new room where there will be a cutscene that plays. Once the cutscene's over, it's going to kick you out, give you a little bit of loot, and a free guaranteed legendary GS45 pistol. This is, of course, the pistol that will turn into sort of the Mustang and Sally when you pack-a-punch it. How to activate the music Easter egg song of the brand new zombies map, Citadelle of the Dead. So first things first is you just want to head into the tavern here, and right opposite of this armor, you can actually find the first headphone just sitting on this table right here that you can hold to activate. So once you pass Speed Cola and head into the courtyard over here, you simply are going to want to head to your right and come over here in the corner, and the second headphone's right here in the corner. Now for this third headphone, we're going to have to make our way deep into the castle. So once you're here in the Undercroft, this watery room, it's simply going to be over here on the left side of the room, right here. You can hold and activate this third piece, and it's going to play the song Slave by Kevin Sherwood featuring Vicky Sirakis. There is a second Easter egg song that is basically a little instrumental, and this can be done by acquiring the Fire Sword and then simply hitting those 3 urns you used to upgrade it to the Fire Sword, just swinging your Fire Sword at them to light them on fire. So the first urn is on the castle wall, the second one is just outside the left door of spawn, and then the third one is just inside of spawn in the corner next to the Rampage Inducer. After you light all 3 of these, the second little tune will begin to play. So to activate a free fire trap that will kill zombies and actually seek them out, you're going to need to get yourself a Fire Sword, or you can use Molotovs, but you have to do this very fast, and there's 4 locations you have to strike, meaning you'll have to get extra Molotovs. So the Fire Sword is just ideal. So there's 4 fireplaces around the map that you have to hit and light them up in a set amount of time. So the first one is just going to be in the tavern here on the right. Just crouch down and hit the wood to light it on fire, and to make things faster, I like to take this portal that's right below the tavern to teleport you straight into the castle. The second one's going to be on the left side of the castle in the Stamina Up room. Just to the left of Stamina Up, you can see the next fireplace to light up, and then very close by, right in the Alchemy room, right on the right side of the room here where the zombies are spawning, you can actually see another fire area to light up, and then in the main dining hall in the very back is your 4th and final one to strike and light on fire. Once you light this one on fire, it's then going to send out fireballs and start killing all the zombies. So you could just train them up in this room and let them all get killed by the trap. It will deactivate after a while, however, but I have heard you can reactivate this later on. So you can actually get all the drops for free in Citadelle of the Dead. So there's a free max ammo just to the right of Speed Cola, just outside the castle. In this window, you can shoot it and get a free max ammo. If you then walk into the room that has Juggernog, the main entrance of the castle, and then turn around and look up at the beam, and you should be able to see a max armor on the beam you can shoot and get. If you then make your way into the dining hall and go towards the middle of the room or even upstairs, you can then turn around and look up and see a full power on the roof. And close by, if you head into the Alchemy room, in this barrier you can look out and see a double points sitting on a low shelf. And lastly, if you head into the Undercroft, there's this couch that's in there, and if you go prone next to it, you should be able to see a free bonus points just right behind it. How to do the main Easter egg quest on the brand new Citadelle of the Dead in Black Ops 6 Zombies. So the first thing you're going to want to do is obviously go ahead and get Pack-a-Punch opened up. It's pretty straightforward, and the game pretty much tells you how to do it. Once that's done, you can then go talk to Kraft, who's actually down in the dungeon, which is the room with Quick Revive. And if you walk up to the wooden door in the back, you can interact with it and have some dialogue with him. After that, you're going to have to get all 4 swords to their elemental upgrades, which I did show earlier in this video if you refer to the timestamps. So once you have those, you will then have to do an incantation for each of the elements of the swords. So first up is the light sword. So you're going to want to pick up the light sword and head into the actual sword room there, the dining hall, and simply use your gun and shoot the crystals, starting with the one up high, and shoot them to keep turning them to direct the beam to the next crystal. So in this video, you can hopefully see the path that it should be taking, sort of bouncing around the room. until it actually points into the alchemy room, and then you can keep shooting the crystals in there to eventually get it to point to sort of a statue on the desk, which will reveal a quest item you can pick up. So with this item, you can now take it into the dining hall over in this area, and you can place it there on the ground, and now you're going to have to kill a bunch of zombies to fill it up with souls. Once it's filled up with souls, you're going to have to pull out the light sword and then melee the box that has now appeared, and the light incantation will appear inside and you can pick it up. Next up is the fire incantation. So you're going to want to get yourself some Molotovs and head over to the top of the wall, and you're going to see 3 pyres that you can throw your Molotovs at. So the first one's on the left side of the castle, up on the roof. Just throw your Molotov at it, and then it's going to rain down some zombies, so just kill them all. The second one's just in the middle of the castle at the top, and I learned you can actually throw Molotovs pretty far, so you don't need to kind of over traject it to hit it really. And then that's going to spawn some zombies, kill those as well. And then the third and final one is just going to be to the right, sort of outside of the castle. Once you've done all 3 of those and killed all these zombies, it's then going to spawn one of the mini bosses, and then if you kill that one and let it explode, it will then drop another quest item for you to pick up. If you then take this just down below into the courtyard here, you should be able to see the next spot that you can now place this one at, and then kill zombies with souls to collect into it, and it will eventually reveal the chest, which you can now melee with the fire sword to open up and collect the fire incantation. Next up is the lightning incantation. Head over to the barn on the left side of the map near Deadshot and simply shoot this horseshoe that's found right above the door and collect it off the ground. So make sure you have the lightning sword, and then head over to the top of the castle and climb into the cannon and let it shoot you across the map back to spawn, during which you should see sort of a zap of lightning on your screen. You will then see a storm cloud zap down, and if you head over there, it will then drop the electrified horseshoe, which you can pick up along with a bunch of zombies you should probably watch out for. So with this electrified horseshoe, you could take it back to spawn, and you could just place it there and fill this one with souls once again, and then once the chest appears, melee it with the lightning sword, and then pick up the lightning incantation. Lastly, there's the void incantation. You simply need to take the slide that's found in the Pack-a-Punch room, and towards the end of the slide on the right side, you're going to be able to see a raven that you can shoot. It will then fly out of the slide towards spawn and begin flying around the map. So you simply then need to just shoot it out of the sky, and then it will drop the next quest piece you can pick up. Once you have this piece, then head over to the Undercroft to find this location. When you approach it, place that there, and then simply kill zombies once again to fill it with souls, and then melee the chest that appears with the void/shadow sword. Once you've done this, you're going to have to head into the tavern, where you might have noticed these sort of vases that have Roman numerals on them, and if you interact with them, it reveals a symbol. So what you're going to want to do is head to all 6 of these in the specific order that they are in the tavern, and you need to remember the 6-digit code in the order that is specified. So these will be symbols, so you can sort of make notes to yourself if you like to keep tabs, or you can just take screenshots if you're a little more lazy. So then you're going to have to get yourself melee macchiato and then head into the Undercroft, and on this back wall you can actually melee it, and it's going to reveal a panel where you can enter in the code. So simply shoot your code in order, but every time you shoot one, it's going to scramble up the board once again and move stuff around, so you're just going to have to be a little bit quick on it and pay attention. So simply type in your code one at a time into this wall, and then it's going to reveal a book in the wall. So then you're going to have to go up to the stamina up room, and inside of there you have to collect 4 pages that have glowing red icons on them. So I believe the locations are a bit randomized in this room, but they're always going to be in this room. So they could be on the bed, they can be next to the TV, they can be around the corner behind some boxes, but all in this general room, so just keep your eyes peeled and look around. Once you've collected 4 pages, you can then go back to the book and place them there. So then the book will then reveal 4 symbols correlating to traps around the map that you need to get kills at, and upon doing so will stop that symbol from glowing in the book. So I recommend just taking a screenshot of this book and then heading to these glowing traps around the map and find the ones that correlate to your needed symbols that are on the ground. And these will be the rune traps. So there's a couple found in the castle upstairs and down, and then there's a couple outside of the castle on the pathways towards spawn. So simply find your correlating symbols, activate that trap, and get kills there to finish it. You'll know you've successfully completed one because the trap will immediately turn off once you've gotten about 10 kills there. Once you've successfully completed all 4 of the symbols, a wall will now begin glowing that's on the stairs to the Undercroft. It will display each sword symbol with a specific order. So I believe it's going to be different every game, so just look next to the icons and memorize the order that the swords need to go in. So with this order, head back into the dining hall where all the swords and the knights are. So what you're going to want to do is pick up the incantations in that room and use the correlating one to each of the knight statues. And then immediately after you hit it with the incantation, then you simply want to inspect your weapon right in front of the statue. If you've done this correctly, the statue will then pose and then begin glowing yellow. Then you can place the sword back to the statue. Keeping in mind while you're following the order you need to do this in, make sure you pick up the sword that correlates to said statue each time before you do the incantation, and then the inspect, and then give the sword back to the statue. Once you've done the 4 statues successfully in the correct order, an orb will now spawn and you can pick up this orb. So you're then going to have to place this orb at different locations around the map and get kills with the incantation that correlates to that orb. I've also heard you can just use the sword that correlates special ability if you have that charged up as well. But the incantations do just keep respawning on like a 30-second cooldown. So if you head over to spawn, you can place the orb there, and this is for the lightning incantation. So simply get kills nearby with the lightning incantation until it charges the orb and you can pick the orb back up. The next one's going to be in the courtyard, kind of near the ammo box. Simply place it there, and you're going to have to get kills with the fire incantation, which is found nearby, or the fire sword special ability, as I've been told. Once you charge the orb there, you can pick it back up, then head into the dining hall for the light orb, which is upstairs. You can place it. You can use the light incantation in there, but this one seems to work a little bit differently, where in my game it was spawning a bunch of big orbs. So you could simply get kills with the incantations and then keep running around into these big orbs, and it would sort of send them back to the orb you're supposed to be collecting for. So this one was a little bit confusing, but I think you just need to run around a lot and collect the big orbs. Once you've charged the main orb there, you can pick it back up, and then the last one is just down in the Undercroft. You can place down there and get kills with the Void/Raven incantation or the Shadow Sword special ability apparently as well. So once you've charged the orb at all 4 of these locations, you can then go back to the wall that's on the stairs and place the orb there. Upon placing the orb, the wall will open up to a secret room, and if you walk in, you can now talk to this sort of ghost. So there'll be plenty of dialogue, and you will be able to eventually pick up the key off of the table. Once you have this key, you are ready for the boss fight, so be sure to prepare yourself. In the second and third sort of phases of the boss can move pretty quick, so I recommend stamina up, getting all your perks, getting tier 3 packed, getting as best equipped as you possibly can, distraction devices. To begin the boss fight, simply place that key on the front of the statue in spawn. And you're going to be underground indoors, so I don't think the chopper gunner is going to be useful here. From my experience, if you use the mutant injection and use the mangler, the melee is not really effective against it this time around. However, the shot blast on it seems to be a little bit more effective. But overall, it wasn't the greatest to use. So I'm not sure what the greatest kill streak to use would be against him necessarily. But as for weapons, I've heard that the Void Sword's sort of special ability does decent damage to him, as well as if you have sort of a maxed out ray gun, it could do some decent damage over time. Be prepared for mini bosses spawning in there, as well as plenty of zombies and splash damage attacks and sort of jumping and stomping on the ground from the boss. So you're gonna have to be constantly on the move and keeping your head on a swivel. A helpful little tip is you can actually parry the boss's attacks. So if you're in co-op, you could have one player constantly parrying his attacks while the others deal the damage. The boss is overall decently difficult, so you're going to want to have speed perks like stamina up, and hopefully you have slider on PhD, so you could slide really fast and zoom left and right out of the way of his attacks, as well as having damage mitigation through your armor with the Juggernog augments. And of course, try to bring in some helpful gobblegums that can keep you alive and help you guys out. Idolize is a decent one to distract the zombies, and Shields Up is of course a good one to keep your armor doubled in health for a while. And then of course there's all the other kind of OP ones you could use as well. But besides that, the boss is pretty straightforward. He just has armor that you can shoot at him and break, and then he will reveal weak spots that are glowing that you can also shoot and destroy. Once you've successfully beaten the boss, you'll have beaten the main Easter egg of Citadelle Des Morts. And then the ending cutscene will play. Free random perk drop, which will give everyone in your match a free random perk along with some free ammo mods. And if you're doing the main Easter egg, this just kind of goes along with it. So you have to get to the part early on in the Easter egg where you get the code from the tavern and you type it into the undercroft on the wall. After you've successfully typed that code in, the wall will stop glowing completely, and all you have to do is go get all 4 incantations one at a time and blast them into the wall. And you'll see the symbols start glowing 1 row at a time every time you hit it with each of the incantations. So simply shoot 1 incantation at it, run back to the dining hall and grab another until you've successfully shot all 4, and after you shot the 4th one, it's going to initiate a lockdown. And on the round I was on, they didn't send any mini bosses or anything, it was just zombies and vermin. So you just gotta survive the lockdown. It's gonna be sort of 3 waves of zombies pretty much, and then at the very end you get a free random perk drop and a bunch of ammo mods for free. How to get a little ghost guardian that will help protect you and kill zombies for absolutely free on the brand new Citadelle of the Dead in Black Ops 6 Zombies. So all you have to do is collect a single chess piece, and this chess piece appears to have multiple spawn locations. So at least at the moment there are 3 that we absolutely know of. So the first possible spawn is going to be just upstairs of Jug next to this dragon head. To the right there's going to be some tables over here, and this is one possible location that it can be. Another spot it can be is actually in the sort of wall next to Elemental Pop of the castle, and it's just going to be across that room that Elemental Pop is in on a table, and that's actually where it was in my game. And then the third possible location is just underneath the tavern, where you can go underneath, and it's going to be to the left of the portal on sort of these shelves. Once you find the chess piece, however, simply head into the stamina up room inside the castle and interact with the chessboard there, and a circle will appear on the ground. You simply need to stand in the circle and kill zombies within it, and upon completion, it will spawn a guardian that will jump around and crush zombies for you. And when I was playing, it lasted quite a while actually. I want to say it was a few rounds, like in the 20s. So I hope you guys find this guide useful, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.